Evening, everyone. Really nice to see each one of you. It's indeed a wonderful opportunity for us to continue being refreshed from God's Word tonight, as now we continue with this series, Two Ways to Live. As we hear the Gospel from the book of Proverbs, just to be able to gain that wisdom. I think the last two Wednesdays have already set kind of the tone, and also by way of introduction, just setting the stage to help us know what really this book is about. And I think we all know how verse 7 has been such a big one. Verse 7 of chapter 1: the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. And that looks like it's really the ultimate focus for all of us, for any one of us, as even we come to this book of Proverbs, that we want to have that fear of the Lord. So karibuni sana. Let's dig in together in chapter 2 today, and just be able to see what is the message today. What can we learn again from the book of Proverbs? Now, as we come to this, before even we read the passage, here's a question, and I think this is one of the top questions for anyone. Think of yourself when you are venturing perhaps into business, or you are taking on a new adventure. This is the question that you ask: what is in it for me? What is in it for me? Itanisaidia aje? When you're thinking of putting all your energy, when you think of putting all your resources into something, you really want to know that it will pay off. You really want to know that it is something that has benefits. It is something that is of value. What does it benefit me? Is it of any value? And you'd want to maximize then the resources you're putting into something, so that you get that value for it. And as we come to the book of Proverbs, I think the question would be, when you're thinking about the whole thing of wisdom, when everything is coming to us and we are talking about wisdom and all that, of what value is that? Of what benefit is wisdom? Why should I spend so much time even thinking about this book or seeking this wisdom? Let's read chapter 2 and just see why it is so important, why wisdom is such a valuable thing, perhaps more than any other, really, as we come to this book. So, sorry. If you have your Bible, please turn to chapter 2 of Proverbs. I'll read the 22 verses, then we'll dig in. So, Proverbs chapter 2. My son, if you receive my words and treasure up my commandments with you, making your ear attentive to wisdom, and inclining your heart to understanding. Yes, if you call out for insight and raise your voice for understanding. I should have raised my voice there. Yes, if you call out for insight and raise your voice for understanding. If you seek it like silver and search for it as for hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find knowledge of God. For the Lord gives wisdom. From his mouth come knowledge and understanding. He stores up sound wisdom for the upright. He is a shield for those who walk in integrity, guarding the paths of justice and watching over the way of his saints. Then you will understand righteousness and justice and equity, every good path. For wisdom will come into your heart, and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. Discretion will watch over you. Understanding will guard you, delivering you from the way of evil, from men of perverted speech, who forsake the paths of uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice in doing evil and delight in the perverseness of evil, men whose paths are crooked and who are devious in their ways. So you will be delivered from the forbidden woman, from the adulteress with her smooth words, who forsakes the companion of her youth and forgets the covenant of her God. For her house sinks down to earth, to death, and her paths to the departed. None who go to her come back, nor do they regain the path of life. So you will walk in the way of the good, and keep to the paths of the righteous. For the upright will inhabit the land, and those with integrity will remain in it. But the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the treacherous will be rooted out of it. And that's the word of the Lord. This is a very, very interesting passage. And before we even come to it and see what the main message is, I just want us to go back and look at the first slide of that from verse 1 all to verse 4, because it's very interesting the way it's been crafted. So you can see that in the first 4 verses, there are 3 ifs there. So verse 1, my son, if you receive my words. Verse 3, if you call out for insight. And then verse 4, if you seek it like silver. That seems to mark the first bit of this chapter 2. After that, then you move to verse 5, and then you see then you will understand the fear of the Lord. And then talks about what the Lord does, how the Lord works, all the way up to verse 8. And then you come to verse 9, there is another then. So it seems that in verse 1 to 4, she's kind of setting forth the condition of what one needs to do. And then there's almost following up immediately the result of this. If you do this, if you do this, if you do this, then the first result is given. You will understand the fear of the Lord, and then expound on what he means. And then you come to verse 9 again. Then you will understand righteousness and justice and equity, every good path. And then he expounds on that, how that will look like. But then you come to verse 12. Again, he mentions something there, delivering you from the way of evil. So there seems to be a deliverance there that is happening, all as a result of seeking wisdom. First, understanding God, then understanding righteousness, which is a relationship dealing with people. And then you see there's a deliverance that happens, a rescue, a salvation. And not only that, so verse 12 all the way to verse 15. But then you come to verse 16 again, there's another deliverance there. So verse 16, so you will be delivered from the forbidden woman. There seems to be 2 deliverances there from verse 16. And then in the end now, you come there expounding on the life of this forbidden woman. And then now verse 20 to 22, a kind of a summary, wrapping the 2 things together. What will happen to the one who is righteous, the one who seeks wisdom, and what will happen for to the one who is wicked, the one who does not seek wisdom. So with that in mind, then I think it's just beautiful to see how this is crafted, and how how poetic it is. So let's dive in and see what the message is. I've tried to summarize this in a short sentence. The main message of this is: seek wisdom, then you will fear God, live right, and be delivered from the evil one, or the evil one. Seek wisdom, then you will fear God, you will live right, and be delivered from the evil one. And I think this is what captures the message here, which is really a call for us to think about what are the benefits of wisdom. What is the value of going on and on about seeking wisdom and spending our time thinking about these things? So let's have a look at it. Here's an outline for us this evening. The first thing we see, the call for us to seek wisdom, which is verse 1 to 4. The second thing is that then you will fear God. The first result when you seek wisdom is the fear of God, the fear of the Lord. Then the second result is you will live a righteous life, which really should be 2A and 2B. And then number 4, which still is the result, then you'll be delivered from the evil one. You will be delivered from the evil one. So that's the outline of what we'll look at tonight. So let's dig in and see how this looks like. Number one, seek wisdom. Look at verse 1 to 4. It is not like wisdom just comes automatically. It's not like something that just you wake up and you are wise today, wiser than you are tomorrow. You see, just looking at ourselves in the African tradition, thinking about it traditionally, if you needed wisdom, then you would walk with the wise. You would sit with the elders. You would listen to their stories. You'd want to have that relationship with them, and in a way tapping from them, and that wisdom being imparted to you. And biblically, I think it's kind of the same concept. If you need wisdom, then you need to heed, to listen to the words of the wise. I think that's basically kind of the thing. You need to hear the words of the wise. And so here are the things that we see in verse 1 to 4. One, it seems there's something about words when it comes to wisdom. More than just what someone does, more than just what someone sees. I think there's a lot of words as a means through which wisdom is imparted. And so he says there in verse 1, if you receive my word, which is the first condition. And he says when you receive these words, what do you need to do with them? Treasure them up. Be attentive. Incline your heart. Putting in every effort to tuning your ears to receive these words that are spoken by the wise. Treasure up my commandments, given again, spoken or written. Make your ear attentive to wisdom. Incline your heart to understanding. Making every effort so that this is coming in you. And not just merely hearing, but being keen, attentively to take in, listening, so that you are taking in everything that is coming in. And then the other thing we see there from verse 3 is another condition. If you call out for insight, raise your voice for understanding. So there's a way in which there's a desperation kind of almost. This is something that you badly really want. So you're calling out, raising your voice. It's like you had this child and you're in the marketplace and the child is lost from you. You're going out crying and wailing, who has seen my son? And calling the son's name, where are you? Where are you? That's the kind of thing there, raising your voice, because you are in desperate need of this. And then we see from verse 4 the condition again, if you seek it like silver. So seek it like silver, search for it as for hidden treasure. This is again something you're applying it, you're treasuring it, looking at it as the most important thing. Treasure, seeking for it. Like a miner who goes into the ground, deep into the ground, looking, digging and digging and digging for gold. Never mind the risks that are involved. It's kind of the same thing that Job speaks about in chapter 28 of Job. Wisdom. How people have been looking for wisdom everywhere, digging up, but they cannot get the wisdom. So here's the goal for us. If we want to be wise, then we have to put in every effort, every desire to seek out this wisdom. It will not just come to us as we just sit and do nothing. Like that hidden treasure, like in the parable that Jesus gives, a man who goes on and finds a treasure in a field, then he goes, looks for money, purchases the whole field. Why? Because of that treasure there. And so here's the call, seek wisdom. Put in every effort, go out as much as you want so that you can get this wisdom. It's that precious. And when you do this, what will be the result? There's the second thing. When you seek wisdom, the result is, the first one is, then you will fear God. You will fear God. Look at verse 5. Then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find knowledge of God. There is value. There's value in seeking. That's why you need to put in every effort, all the energies in seeking wisdom, because it's a valuable thing. But the first result is There will be benefits in your relationship with God. There will be benefit in your relationship with God, which is the most important relationship. It will be made right when you have this heart of wisdom. Why? Because you will know what pleases this God and how to come to Him. You will not be presumptuous. You will not create your own ways to come to the Lord. You'll know what is good and pleasing to Him. You'll know what His will is. And you would want to align your will to His good and perfect will. The fear of the Lord. You see, brothers and sisters, the fear of the Lord is something that most people do not have nowadays. Many are not walking in the fear of the Lord. And when we talk about the fear of the Lord, it doesn't mean, like being scared of God or living in worry that God is like that headmaster with a stick and He's just about to strike you. That's not what the fear of God means. The fear of God means that reverence, that awe of God. The fear of God is the recognition that He is the one who is sovereign. He is the one who is the king. And knowing who He is, His nature, His character, His attributes, and holding Him in high esteem above anything else, above everything else, above yourself. Knowing His goodness, having seen His goodness, not wanting to do anything that would come to interfere with that relationship you have of Him. That's the fear of God. You do not want anything to come in and jeopardize your relationship with Him. It is a fear, it is a response to the revelation of who God is, to the character of God. It is a response, a right response, doing that, having seen who He is and what He has done, and then gratefully saying, if this is who He is, of course I do not want to do anything that is contrary to who He is and to what He has revealed Himself. That is the fear of the Lord. Shunning evil, walking in His way, turning from self, and then leaning on Him. Not leaning on one's own understanding, but on Him. And actually this happens because the Lord is the one actually who gives wisdom. Verse 6, for the Lord gives wisdom. So you have this fear of the Lord, and as you have the fear of the Lord is the one who gives wisdom. And every day we know then how to live with Him. We know every day how to keep living as His people. Because in the end, He's the one who gives wisdom. He's the one who gives understanding. And actually the other thing is then, those who have this wisdom will be protected by God. Verse 7, He stores up wisdom for the upright. He is a shield to those who walk in integrity, guarding the path of justice and watching over the way of the saints. The fear of the Lord is the first benefit there of having this wisdom, seeking wisdom and finding it. Number 2, which is our number 3, the second advantage or the second benefit is then you live a righteous life and be rewarded. You will live a righteous life and be rewarded. So if the first benefit is the relationship with God, but the second benefit then, here, our relationship with others. And if you have never known, actually you really need wisdom so that you can be able to live with other sinners like you. You really need wisdom to be able to do that. Verse 9, then you will understand righteousness and justice and equity, every good path. Now, these 4 things he mentions there. That when you have wisdom, you understand righteousness, meaning that you will be doing the right thing. You will know the right thing to do, and you will do the right thing at the right time. You will be in the right, being right. That's what really righteousness is. Justice, you know what it means to be morally fair and right. Not doing anything to pervert the cause of those who are being unfairly treated. You know equity, not thinking about self, not being selfish and perhaps amassing things for yourself, not being unfair. And then the good path. You will know the right path to follow and also lead others to follow that right way. The wisdom helps you to be able to live right with other people. Wisdom to know how to approach God, to come to Him in the fear of the Lord, but also wisdom to know how to have those relationships with others. And when you think about these two things, isn't it what Jesus said when one of the scribes came to him and asked him, "Teacher, teacher, what is the greatest commandment?" What Jesus tells him, the first and greatest commandment is, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, your soul, and your strength." And the second, like it is this, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself." Right there, that is wisdom there we have. Right living before God and right living with other people. And as this happens, then there's a reward, there are benefits. So there's like a section in verse 20 to 22. "So you will walk in the way of the good and keep to the path of the righteous. For the upright will inhabit the land, and those with integrity will remain in it. But the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the treacherous will be rooted out of it." So there's benefit. It comes with a reward from the Lord Himself. And when you think about even the Sermon on the Mount, when the Lord Jesus Christ is speaking, the Beatitudes, He talks about it. The pure, the merciful, and all those people. There's an inheritance for them. And that's what it means to walk in wisdom. And the fourth thing there, "So you will be delivered from evil one." You'll be delivered from the evil one. As it says there from verse 12, "Delivering you from the way of evil, from men of perverted speech." And then verse 16, "So you will be delivered from the forbidden woman, from the adulteress with her smooth words." There are two groups of people here that we all need deliverance from. You need to be delivered from evil men, and you need to be delivered from the forbidden woman, the adulteress, or the foreign woman. This woman who is there to seduce, to lure you from God. First, look at the evil men. You'll be delivered from evil. These men who are of perverted speech. These are the people, the description goes on from verse 13 to 15. These are people who forsake the path of uprightness. These are people who walk in the way of darkness. They rejoice in doing evil. They delight in the perverseness of evil. Their paths are crooked and are devious in their ways. This is the reality of the world we are living in. There are these kind of people. These are kind of people who breathe evil, who breathe in evil and breathe out evil. That is the way of life. That is what they delight in. And so when we gain a heart of wisdom, when we seek wisdom, we will know. There will be deliverance. We'll be delivered from such kind of men. We will not fall into the trap of these men who are there to lead us into more and more evil. And then the second group there is this woman, the forbidden woman, or the adulteress. Again, see the description there, with her smooth words. What does she do? She forsakes the companion of her youth, leaves her husband, runs away from her husband. She forgets her covenant with God. It doesn't matter anymore to her. Her end is such that her house sinks down to death. There's destruction. Her paths to the departed. And then how about those who go into her, those who follow her? They never come back. They don't regain the path of life. So there the writer here says, when we seek wisdom, then we'll be delivered from such evil people. But interestingly, not something about these two groups. There seems to be something about the use of words. Again, use of words. For the evil men, these are people of perverted speech. They speak evil. They don't care what they say. For this woman, she has these smooth words to lure you. At the start and the beginning, it may seem like a very good deal for both groups. Very sugar-coated in a way. And once you fall into that trap, you're gone. Wisdom will tell you, well, don't just listen to small talk. Don't listen to, these empty words. There's some discernment you will have, and you will not fall after that. So words, and then remember again at the beginning we said, to gain wisdom you need to heed words. So in other words, it means then you have to listen, and what you listen to determines whether you're becoming a fool or you're becoming wise. I think what you listen to. And that's a very important thing to really think about. What you listen to will show whether you're growing in foolishness or you're growing in wisdom. So those are the things there. Seek wisdom, then you'll have the fear of the Lord, you will live righteously and be rewarded, and then you'll be delivered from the evil one. Let's wrap this up by applying this. Can we do this by ourselves? These things that really the writer is calling us to. Do you have the ability, the strength to be able to do this? And can we be able to do this perfectly? I'm sure when we search ourselves, we look at it and we're like, wow, this is something that is so hard for me. I think what this is anticipating, and we have already seen this, really, we cannot in our own self be